there's a lot of people doing what you want to do, that shouldn't stop you from moving forward. If anything, it just proves that there is a market for it, right? There's a lot of options out there for wanting to start your own business. So I can see why it gets a little overwhelming on knowing when the timing's right. There's no reason you couldn't start tomorrow. There's no reason you can start today. Every business idea has a day one. So have you ever had a business idea, but you've just brushed it aside and thought, yeah, maybe I'll do that next month, or I'll revisit that idea at a later time. Maybe you're waiting for something that makes you feel like you're ready to start doing it. Well, today we're getting into when you know you're ready and what you need to know before you start your own business, specifically for stay-at-home or working moms. Now, this whole idea is very near and dear to my heart because there was a time when I worked a 9-to-5 and I wasn't a mother at the time, but I knew one day I would become a mother. And so I could see my future before me. I could see me going to work Monday to Friday, then going on mat leave, and then having to jump back into work and manage home life and put that on repeat. It just was not something that I wanted any part in. And that is ultimately why I first started my entrepreneurial journey. Now, there are a lot of things I do differently, and there's a lot of options out there for wanting to start your own business. So I can see why it gets a little overwhelming on knowing when the timing's right. So the first thing we're gonna kind of get into today is the 5 things that you can kind of look over, review to make sure that you know that it's the right time for you to start this business idea that you've been sitting on and thinking about. So let's dive in. Now, the first thing that really you should think about is the financial aspect. Now, it depends what kind of business you want to start, but if you are a parent, a mother, and you want to spend a lot of time with your kids, you want a flexible schedule, you're gonna probably want a business that isn't the main income for your household. I mean, it'll get there. Trust me, one day your business will definitely get there. But when you're first starting out, you have to be prepared to put in a lot of financial investment in your learning, in different tech setup stuff that you need. There will be expenses, and you need to financially be ready for that. You also need to have somebody else in the house who's going to cover a lot of the bills, especially if this is just going to be more of a side gig, part-time passion project. And that other person in the house should also be very supportive. Now, this is the second point, is before you jump into this business idea, you want to make sure that you are well supported. You want people to be excited about what you're doing, because there are going to be days where it's not all rainbows and sunshine. And the last thing you want is somebody in the corner saying, I told you so, I told you shouldn't start this. You're going to be hard enough on yourself because you're going to care so much about the success of this business that you want people around you to support you in this endeavor. And honestly, if they love you and know it's important to you, they will. And now the third thing that you want to do is make sure that this passion, this idea that you have is a passion. And if you're just looking to make some extra cash, there's a lot of jobs out there that you can do. But if you're going to spend this time away from your family, you want to make sure it's something that you are excited about, because there's nothing worse than getting into a job and after a couple of months thinking, ugh, I'd rather be, out at the park with my kids or going on some adventure instead of just doing this data entry job. That will fade so fast. And I don't know if there's an amount of money that can make that type of work worth it when you don't really need to be working. The fourth thing you want to do, so you've come up with this fantastic business idea and it's something you're very passionate about, is you need to do a little bit of market research. And this is easy enough with today's technology, is getting on the old Google or even using AI to do a little bit of research of what's already out there. Now, this kind of works 2 ways. And if there's absolutely nobody out there doing it, there's a good chance that it might not be a very good idea or people aren't willing to pay for it. And unless you are inventing something completely new that's never existed before, you really want to make sure to do some research to see what's out there. Now, on the flip, if there's a lot of people doing what you want to do, that shouldn't stop you from moving forward. If anything, it just proves that there is a market for it, right? It shows you that somebody's going to pay for this grand, great idea that you have. So once you've gotten this market research done, the last thing you want to do is obviously jump into creating some sort of a business plan. You need to plan things out. You need to, go figure out who your ideal client is. You need to figure out what the initial investment is going to be. The great thing with digital products is usually it's just your time. If you're going to do a physical product, there's going to be costs of goods that are involved. You might not want to plan. It might not be that much fun, but it is super important so you know what you're getting into. And as much as every best laid plan usually does go that way, especially in business. You're going to be used to that. You're a mother. Everything you plan with your children, bedtime, dinner time, nothing really ever goes as planned. Your business will be the same, but it's still good to have a plan, something to work towards, some sort of guideline. So when you've worked through all of these things, you're going to know and you're going to feel more confident when you're ready to start your business. The biggest piece to all of this, though, is just your mindset. Realistically, there's no reason you couldn't start tomorrow. There's no reason you can start today. Every business idea has a day one, and every person who does that has their doubts and has their questions, but how could you spend the rest of your life thinking, what if? And that was the biggest driving force for me through all of it, is I couldn't imagine living life thinking, what if I had never gone for it? What if I had never even tried? So if you're feeling compelled, you've got an idea, you might as well go after it, because honestly, you have nothing to lose, especially if you've already checked off these 5 boxes. And it's the most exciting, most rewarding feeling when you've created something on your own and you honestly just get started today. There's no reason you should stop. So get after it, chase after those dreams, and start your business.